Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Your
Good
Honor.
afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. Name is Champion.
Good afternoon, Judge.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon.
Whenever you're ready to start, we have a private attorney case, position 10, Mr. Moore.
Let's see. What's the attorney's name?
Marcus Roberts, Your Honor.
Say that again.
Marcus Roberts,
Marcus Roberts.
that's correct.
Have you filed your entry yet?
I have not, Your Honor.
Okay, no worries. All right, let me go ahead and give my instructions and then we'll get started. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Judge Regina Mincy, and we're going to begin our Fulton County State Court Expedited Accusations calendar. This is a calendar for cases in which individuals have recently been arrested and charged with certain misdemeanor offenses. Soon after their arrest, the Fulton County Solicitor General's Office has already accused these cases of the offenses brought against them, and the cases have been bound over to the Fulton County State Court. Nevertheless, this will usually be the defendant's initial appearance before state court judge, so we're able to address several matters such as bond, possible arraignment, or providing a consideration rather of a possible plea offer if one has been made at this juncture by the state. Our reset date is what, Ms. Champion? Well, we'll get our reset date in a second.
The reset date is going to be October the 27th, Judge.
October 27, okay. All right, for SAP is October 27. And I also want to begin by advising everyone that this whole entire proceeding is being recorded as well as live streamed on YouTube, so govern yourselves accordingly. I want to also remind the defendants on this calendar that you have certain constitutional rights. One of those being you have the right to have counsel with you at this juncture, or an attorney to represent you, which most of you should know who they are, whether it is the PD or you've hired a private attorney. Also, you have a constitutional right to remain silent. Remember that anything that you state about the facts, the circumstances, and the occurrences in this hearing can and will be used against you. The solicitors are here and they're listening. So listen to your attorneys. All right, the first case we have is position 10. That is State versus Damian Moore, 22 CR 006889Y. Mr. Moore is charged with one count of simple battery family violence and a second count of battery family violence. The offense date is October the 13th, 2022. Do you have anything pretrial?
Second arrest, 2015 suspended license.
Okay. All right, and this ASG, Mr. Stevens?
It's Tortorella. Your Honor.
Tortorella, ASG Tortorella, go ahead, ma'am.
Yes, Your Honor. For the battery family violence charge, the state's recommending a $5,000 surety bond. For the simple battery family violence, a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial. Total is an $8,000 split bond. The conditions is no contact with the victim, Miss Brooke Moore, who is on the line, Your Honor. To stay away from 2256 La Vista Court Northeast in Atlanta. The third-party transfer of the child, in this case, a one-time escort for the defendant to get his belongings, one-day anger management, no drugs or alcohol, no weapons, and no violations of Georgia law. Your Honor, this incident occurred yesterday, October 13th, 2022 at 2256 La Vista Court Northeast in Atlanta. This defendant does pose a threat and danger to the person of Miss Brooke Moore. Your Honor, the Atlanta Police Department was dispatched to the incident location in reference to a domestic dispute with injuries. This physical altercation involving the defendant, Damian Moore, and victim Brooke Moore stemmed from a verbal argument. Upon officers speaking to Miss Moore, she informed that her husband, the defendant, choked her as well as pulled her by her ponytail, causing her to fall to the ground, and this was outside of the residence. Officers observed a friction burn mark on Miss Moore's right elbow. Mr. Thomas Brockhart, a neighbor and witness of the incident, said he heard Miss Moore screaming for help outside and asking for someone to call 911. The defendant was arrested, and these events did occur in Fulton County, Georgia. To add, Your Honor, the state's concerned of intimidation of the victim here, also the witness, is foreseeable due to the facts of the case before Your Honor. The officer did observe bruising that was not fresh on the victim. Also stressing that these violent acts against Miss Moore were done outside of their home. The defendant did not care who witnessed that act or who heard it. The victim provided further details to our office, Your Honor. She stated that the defendant grabbed her by her ponytail, pushed her to the ground, and kneeled on her hip as the defendant grabbed the back of her neck, holding her down. The state fears the defendant because she states that she fears the defendant because she is not sure he will be angry once released. She also further stated the defendant has been physical with her in the past, but this is the first time the police were involved. And she only wants contact due to the children and is okay with the defendant coming home. However, the state is advocating and is strongly against this, Your Honor. There's not enough cooling off period at this moment. And given just the facts of this case, Your Honor, we're asking for that no contact, nothing further.
All right. Ms. Moore, do you wish to address the court today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'm going to ask that you raise your right hand. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
All right, you put your hand down. And let me ask you the first question. Are you in fear of Mr. Moore?
No.
Okay. And do you want Mr. Moore to come home? I think I've heard the state say that.
Yes, Mr. Moore is a good father, and I would like him to be able to come home to be with his child.
How old is your child?
2.
Do you just have the one child together?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you renting or purchasing the home where you live?
Renting,
And whose name's on the lease?
both of ours.
And are you all married?
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you been married?
4 years.
All right. Anything else pertinent to this incident only that you would like to tell the court?
I would just like to say that I take responsibility for my role in this situation, and I apologize to my husband. This is not what I wanted for this to happen at all. I would like for him to be able to come home with a no violence statute. I would like for us to be able to just peacefully co-parent our child. I think we're both on that same accord, and I would just like to request that he be able to come home as long as we can co-parent our child peacefully moving forward. And I would just like to move forward from this incident and just move forward peacefully with my family.
Okay. All right. Mr. Roberts, do you have any cross-examination that you would like to conduct with this witness? Victim?
Just briefly,
Okay.
Mrs. Moore. Are you in fear for your safety around Damien?
No, I believe Damien will be able to move forward peacefully and co-parent.
Was this incident just a verbal altercation?
It escalated from a verbal altercation, yes.
What did it stem over?
Missing keys,
Did you have Mr. Moore's keys?
yes,
Did he request them from you?
yes,
And is that how the verbal altercation started?
yes.
Was he trying to leave the residence?
No. Well, he was trying to leave at the beginning, but he took my keys. So when the police arrived, I told the police officer that I would give the police officer Damien's keys if Damien would give me my keys. And Damien refused, saying that he didn't have them, even though my car keys were missing. And that's how the altercation happened.
So you guys both had each other's keys.
Correct.
At the time that he was asking for his keys, was he sitting in his car?
No,
You never sat in his car during the time that you guys were having a verbal altercation?
his car or my car?
His car.
No, he wasn't.
What do you think of Mr. Moore's character?
I don't know that I need to know that regarding my Yalafaxes. This is just a bond hearing. This is not the trial. This is not,
I understand, Your Honor.
so I'm gonna kind of stop there with the line of questioning. We've determined what I need to know regarding bond.
Your Honor,
You could tell me a little bit more about Mr. Moore, his age, does he work, and what's going on with him?
Mr. Moore is a licensed attorney, Your Honor. He is a sports agent. He's never been in trouble with the law, Your Honor. He's an upstanding citizen. He's a pillar in this community. He has sufficient contacts in this community. He's not a flight risk. I believe he poses no fear of intimidating the witness, as you heard from the alleged victim's own mouth. With his lack of history, Your Honor, I don't see a reason why Mr. Moore should not be given a signature bond on both charges, especially in light of the testimony from his wife.
Your Honor, if the state can, just like opposing counsel had the right to question the state's witness, if the state can also have in this fundamental fairness, Your Honor.
I apologize. Right, you do. And so, Mr. Roberts, do you have anything else to add before I allow the state? I should have allowed them to also cross-examine the witness before I let you start, but sometimes we go out of turn, but it's okay. I will consider it all.
I'll hold Your Honor until
Okay,
what the age is.
okay. All right, go ahead, ASG Tortorella.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mrs. Brooke, you were screaming outside, is that right?
Correct.
And you were screaming outside and you were stating that for somebody to please call 911?
Yes,
Okay, and the officer did observe bruising on your person, correct?
correct,
And he mentioned it wasn't fresh, is that correct?
correct,
And you stated that in response, you stated that it took them 2 hours to get to the location, is that correct?
correct.
Okay, and did you also advise our office that you were in fear of the defendant, but still wanted him to come home?
What I would like to say is, I hope that we can just move forward in co-parents. I think I think it's important for him to be home with his child. So I do want him to be able to come home. I want to be clear about that. I do want him to be able to come home. I'm not afraid.
But you did state to us prior to this hearing that you were.
I did say that this morning, yes, but after thinking about it with some time, I think once we have, we both cool off, everything will be fine and we can move forward. And I do want him to come home.
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. All right, I am going to order a signature bond through pretrial on both charges. I'm going to order the first charge of simple battery of $5,000 signature bond through pretrial, and on the second charge of $5,000 signature bond through pretrial, for a total of $10,000 signature bond through pretrial. I'm going to order that there should be no further contact with the victim, Brooke Moore. I don't think there's been enough cooling off. I want to make sure that Ms. Moore and her child are safe. So I'm going to order that Mr. Moore will stay away from the residence at 2256 La Vista Court Northeast. He needs to find somewhere else to stay while he's on bond. No further contact with Brooke Moore. If there is to be visitation with the child, that will be conducted by a third party, not between the two parties. I'm going to order the one-day anger awareness course through pretrial. I'm going to order a one-time law enforcement escort back to that location on La Vista Court to retrieve personal items that Mr. Moore may need to get. Mr. Moore, make sure that you have law enforcement to go back with you. Don't go alone. And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. Anything else, counsel, that you want me to take up at this time?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, thank you. Is there a question?
No question, John.
All right, thank you.
Position 13, Patterson. Did you say you talked to your client? Okay. Yeah, you can do that.
This is case number 22 CR 006897A. Is it Markelia or Markelia Patterson? You're charged with 1 count of simple battery. The offense date is October 13th, 2022. Pre-trial?
This her ninth adult arrest. It's the first Georgia arrest. A previous history come out of Florida. Let's see. Got a 2017 child neglect. Charges were dropped in that case. 2017 battery, touch or strike, smuggling contraband into a detention center. That's a conviction. Let's see. 2014 simple assault, intent to threat to do violence. What else? Got a 2014 battery DV, touch or strike, that was dismissed. Petty theft conviction, 2011. 2011 probation. 2011 grand theft dismissed. 2010 battery on an officer or firefighter conviction. And that was a felony. That's it, as far as the adult arrest.
Okay.
She got like 6 or 7 cycles of juvie. But that's it.
Okay. All right. ASG, is it Stevens this
Yes,
time?
ma'am. Yes,
Okay,
Your Honor.
I'm trying to guess correct. Okay, there you go. Go ahead.
Your Honor, so this incident occurred yesterday when an officer responded to 2582 Ivydale Drive Southwest in reference to a dispute between what seemed to be 2 sisters. Upon arrival, the officer was able to observe the sisters arguing and yelling at each other in the front yard. He was able to discern visible scratches on both people, both the victim and the defendant. The officer then discussed what happened with both of the sisters. Ms. Walker, the victim, told the officer that this was her location, this was her home, and that her sister, Ms. Patterson, was there and started a verbal altercation. At some point, getting into the victim's face, yelling at her, things like that. And at one point, the victim, Ms. Walker, just pushed her away in order to create space. And at that point, Ms. Patterson started to strike her multiple times, which then led to Ms. Walker trying to defend herself. Due to the situation, at that point, the officer took Ms. Patterson into custody, and both were taken to get medical attention. As pretrial pointed out, she has a long history of violent offenses, from disorderly conduct to battery against officer, resisting arrest with violence, touch or strike with domestic violence. Most of these offenses were in Florida. So for these reasons, the state is asking for a $1,500 surety bond. We're requesting no further contact with the victim, Miss Walker. We would like her to stay away from the incident location, which I can repeat if you would like, Your Honor. A 1-day AHR awareness, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while on bond.
All right, Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Miss Markila Patterson is 31 years old, and she is actually a victim of domestic violence. And her sister offered to have her in her house, her place. She's separate from her husband right now, and she has 8 minor children from 1 year old to 12 years old. And right now, those children are with neighbors that my client does not even know in person. They lived in Florida, and she came over here with the children because of the invitation from the sister. It's been about several months that she's been here, almost about 2 months, or last year they came here, maybe, I don't know exactly how many years, but she has not had a job, and that's the point. So she does not have a financial means to pay for any bonds. And since there's a conflict with her sister, who is the only one that she knows here in Georgia, no one's going to be able to bond her out. She graduated from high school, and she has some college education, and also she has a disability that she has to take care of as well. We would like to request for signature on bond, and because my client denies all those allegations. She was not the first aggressor, and we want her to get back to her 8 children, Your Honor. Thanks.
All right. How long did you tell me, Ms. Kim, she'd been in Georgia?
I do not exactly know. I put down as a last year's and several months. I honestly do not know. Maybe I can ask my client. Miss Patterson, how long have you been here in Georgia?
I've only been here 2 months.
Oh, 2 months.
I left here fleeing domestic violence, and I was welcomed into my sister's home. And she's married, and her husband.
Miss Patterson, we don't want to discuss the facts of the case at this point. You have every right to remain silent, and yeah, thank you for answering the question.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to order the $1,500 surety bond. I'm going to order. Wow, it's a little difficult. And I know Ms. Patterson is new here, has 8 minor children. I'm assuming the sister has the children at this point, but ordering a stay away is making sure the victim, Ms. Walker's not on the Zoom link. Ms. Walker's not here.
We reached out and were unable to contact her, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm a little torn because of all that Ms. Walker may have on her with the 8 children. But I want to make sure that she's just gotten here, that they are not at odds with maybe all the stress of what's going on with their situation, so that we don't have any more incidents between them.
They were strangers. They're not with my sister.
They're not, okay,
They're with strangers. I don't even know her neighbors. My kids are with complete strangers. They're not with my sister.
right, but I know the strangers aren't gonna wanna go too long either. So there's gonna need to be
Well,
some.
my sister don't want that. She didn't want that.
Okay, well, I'm going to order you to stay away from that location at 2582 Ivydale, in Southwest Atlanta. So you need to find somewhere else to stay. Stay away from that location. I want you to have no further contact with Ms. Walker. I didn't get her first name.
Is it a way?
Shaniqua.
What is it?
Shaniqua, SHAWNIQUIA.
Okay.
Is it
I
a
want
way?
you to have no further contact, Ms. Patterson, with your sister Shaniqua. Right now, we need to make sure there's been the ample cooling down period and that we're not gonna have you right back down here. So right now, you are to completely have no further contact and stay away from your sister Shaniqua Walker and stay away from 2582 Ivydale Lane Southwest.
Yes, ma'am. Is it a way I can get a signature bond to get out of here? I have no family here now.
The surety bond, and usually 10 to 15% is to be paid to a bonding company.
I have no one here. I don't even have funds, ma'am, to even get out. My sister is my only family member here. I have no one. That is why I asked Miss Kim for a signature bond if I could get out and get my baby.
I have to look at your history, and if you've only been here 2 months, I need to be sure that you're gonna show back up in court and not go back to Florida.
Yes, ma'am, I am. Miss Kim is gonna direct me somewhere so I can get some type of shelter or housing help, is what she told me.
Right? Well, I'm going to leave it right now at the $1,500 surety bond, and you can speak to her about that. She will inform you what that means, and hopefully you can get out soon. But that's going to be my ruling. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. Stay away and no further contact. So that's my ruling for now.
Your Honor, can she have a one-time law enforcement officer escorted visit to retrieve
Yes.
her belongings and 8 children?
She can have a one-time law enforcement escort back to that property to get her belongings and or her children's belongings. But I'm assuming social services or your office is going to have to help her to secure these children from these strangers or people who live on the same street. And without having any contact or interaction with her sister. So she should be able to do that. All right.
And, Your Honor, just to be clear, you're not doing the anger awareness program?
No, because I don't know that she has the funds to do that. Are you working, Ms. Patterson?
No, ma'am, I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not gonna order the class right now. All right, that should conclude this case.
Thank you.
All right.
Position 7, Kelly.
Your Honor,
Yeah,
if I may, I apologize. I just want to know if Kizzy.Anderson is Mr. Michael Anderson.
oh,
He's a victim in one of our cases.
Mr. Anderson? Can you hear us? Mr. Anderson, Michael Anderson? You may have stepped away. We'll have to,
Hello,
oh, okay. Mr. Anderson, which case are you here on?
Mr. Jermaine Myers.
He needs to go somewhere where he has lighting on his camera, Judge, where we can see him.
Right, we can't talk to you unless we can see you.
And Your Honor, I'm requesting a breakout with the victim.
You want to speak to the victim before we start on that case?
Yes, number 7 is not the case that he's at, Your Honor.
Okay. I think he said Myers or something.
He's Mr. Michael Anderson. He's in the Myers case.
Right. And so the next case coming up is not your case, so you can be put in a breakout room with the victim.
Yes, please. I guess we're waiting. I apologize, Your Honor. There we go. Thank you.
All right, Deputy, who do we have next?
This is position 7, Kelly.
Okay.
Excuse me, Judge. Mr. Anderson, there is a cue that pops up on your screen to ask you to join in a chat room. Can you please click on it where you can go in with the solicitor? Mr. Anderson, I guess he froze. He's not in the chat room.
Because he didn't, get in there. Hopefully he'll sign off and come back on.
Yeah, that's what he's gonna have to do. All right, Judge. I'm sorry for interrupting.
No problem. All right, we're on position 7. Is that correct, Deputy?
Yes.
Okay. Is it Shantiqua Kelly? And I apologize if I mispronounced your first name. This is case number 22CR006887C. You're charged at 1 count of simple battery. The offense date is May 26, 2021. Pretrial.
Second arrest, 2013 simple battery DV. It was dismissed.
All right, ASG Duncan.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This is offense occurred on May 26, 2021, at 2479 Abner Terrace, Northwest in Atlanta. In this incident, is alleged to have the defendant in this case is alleged to have jumped into a fight that the defendant, that the victim, Mr. Brandon Frazier, was in with other parties and hit him with a stick. The other circumstances surrounding this fight, there was apparently a large gathering of people fighting at this incident, and the defendant in this case jumped in, and she was not previously involved, but she grabbed a stick and hit Mr. Frazier in the hand and arm with the stick, as indicated by the warrant in this case, Your Honor. We do have somewhat of concern about the risk of reoffense, as this seems to be a random attack of violence on a person that doesn't seem to be related to her under the facts that we have access to at the time. So we do have some concern, also given that there was a previous simple battery arrest in her criminal history. Our request from the state is going to be a $2,500 surety bond. No further contact with Mr. Frazier. Stay away, but we're going to defer to the court. We're not sure if that Abner Terrace is her address. However, we're going to ask her to stay away from wherever the victim resides. 1-day anger awareness, no alcohol, drugs, and weapons, and no further violations of Georgia law. Nothing further from the state.
All right.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon.
My client is 33 years old. She has no criminal convictions at all. She was arrested before, but as the prosecutor stated, that charge was dismissed. My client denies that she randomly attacked someone. In fact, the person was attacking her boyfriend and was beating him up pretty badly. So she intervened and she hit him just to help her boyfriend. That is what happened. They really have no connection to each other than he was fighting her boyfriend and she intervened to help her boyfriend out, Your Honor. She has no history whatsoever. She is a mother of 2 young children, an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old, for whom she is a primary caretaker, Your Honor. She is not presently employed, so she has no money to pay for bond. I think she's well qualified for signature bond, Your Honor, and I would ask the court to give her that so she can get out and take care of her children. Also, I would like to point out, Your Honor, that this alleged incident happened well over a year ago, and she has had no other encounters with this person. Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, the state understands the defense's sentiments regardless of the facts. As defense also stated, she did hit the victim with an object in this case, and that type of behavior is inappropriate under any circumstance. So the state believes our recommendation is more than reasonable in this case. Nothing further from the state.
Okay,
Do not say anything, Ms. Kelly. I will handle this.
all right, I'm going to give the $2,500 signature bond through pretrial. I'm going to order her to stay away from 2479 Avenue Terrace Southwest. I'm going to order no further contact with the victim. Give me that name again.
Brandon Frazier. Common spelling for both.
Okay. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And the 1-day anger awareness course through pretrial. Anything else, counsel?
Just one
Nothing
correction.
further.
Yeah.
The incident location was Abner Terrace Northwest.
Oh, I'm sorry. Northwest. Okay.
Nothing further.
Okay. Anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor. No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, that will conclude this case.
Position 11, Myers.
Let's see, are they back from the breakout yet?
Judge,
They never went into the breakout room. Apparently, Mr. Anderson is having some technical difficulties trying to figure out how to get into the breakout room. He was frozen at one point, and now I try to put him back in the break room, but I don't think he knows how to operate that off of his phone.
Right.
it's okay. I'm on the phone with him right now, Your Honor.
Oh, great. Deputy, can we go to another one and come back if they're,
Judge,
oh,
for position number, our first case for the private attorney,
yes.
he has something to mention to you.
Your Honor, I saw a chat on the screen asking for my bar number. I just want to. That.
Okay. Yes, because you didn't do an entry, so they just wanted to make sure they knew how to contact you.
Okay, it's 571-012.
All right, see if you can get that entry filed later today. Or over the weekend, first thing Monday, so they'll have your contact information.
Okay, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I need to look at the chat.
So who's next?
This is 11, Myers.
Myers?
Are they still talking on the phone?
Oh,
Oh,
that's
I'm
Myers'
sorry,
case?
that's right. She's not talking on the phone because he didn't get back on. My bad. I will keep up. All right, position 11. 22 CR 006891J. Is that Jermaine Myers? Charge of 1 count of simple battery in a public transit vehicle or station, 2nd count of disorderly conduct, and the 3rd count of disorderly conduct. All with the offense date of October 13, 2022. Pre-trial.
8th arrest. Last was 2014. Misdemeanor possession of marijuana. It was dismissed. 2008 felony terrorist threats dismissed. 06 theft by taking, first offender. And before that was 02 weapons. I don't see any convictions in this history.
Your Honor, I know that Ms. Tortorello was actually speaking with the victim on the phone, which is why we asked to move on from this defendant and go to another defendant. However, and I don't see her
Back. Okay.
back, which
Right.
indicates to me that she is still speaking with that
She
victim.
did get it, and that's probably why he has the sign back on, because he's talking to her.
Correct.
Okay, I'm sorry, we misunderstood that.
No, it's fine. I think I was a little, with all the different twists and turns, I think it got a little turned around, but yes, it appears that she is still speaking with the victim.
And I'm sorry, Deputy, can we move him over to the side a little bit and go to another one, because the ASG is talking to the victim on the phone.
Okay, position 4, Griggs.
Okay,
Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate that.
thank you, no problem.
No. Can't sit in the second or third row for me.
All right, this is 22 CR 006895D is in dog. Jason Griggs, you're charged with 1 count of DUI, less safe, a 2nd count of driving, possession of open alcohol container, and a 3rd count of driving improper erratic lane change. All 3 charges have the offense date of October 13, 2022. Pretrial.
38 total. Last arrest was in September. Battery DV, hindering person from making emergency call. He got a probation hold out of Gwinnett. He's on probation in Gwinnett. Possession of a firearm or knife during the commission. Possession of meth. That battery DV hindering is open. 22 CR 006-457D as in David. 2019 shoplifting, NOLO. 2019 failure to appear. 2018 sale of marijuana, possession of meth, tampering with evidence, possession of a knife or a firearm during the commission, 2 counts. Those conviction. 2018 probation. 2013 trespass, obstruction. 2015 probation. As far as DUIs, he got 2 convictions from 2006. One of those arrests includes a reckless conduct and endangering a child by driving under the influence. Those are all part of that conviction. 09 financial transaction card fraud conviction. I'll leave it at that. I don't have the driving history though.
Okay. All right, ASG Baptist,
How are you, Judge? Good to see you.
you too.
This incident. Other officer on Medlock Bridge Road.
You went out on us real quick. You may have to repeat that.
Let me make sure my connection is stable, Your Honor. My apologies. Can you hear me now?
You can. I can
Okay.
anyway.
Okay. So the incident occurred yesterday. An officer responded to the scene of a traffic stop that was initiated by another officer on Medlock Bridge Road. The initiating officer observed the defendant failed to maintain his lane, noting he drifted almost completely out of his lane and then swerved back into it. So the second officer, once he arrived to the scene, spoke to the defendant about his driving and noticed a strong odor of alcohol coming from his breath. In conjunction with his speech being severely slurred, drooling, his eyes were bloodshot and watery. He staggered while walking and swayed in a back and forth motion, even while he was standing on a flat and leveled surface. The defendant did refuse to do the standard field sobriety test and the blood test, at which time he was placed into custody. And upon a search of the vehicle for intoxicating substances, the officer located completely empty bottles of Smirnoff green apple vodka, 2 half-empty bottles, and 1 empty bottle of Fireball whiskey. Your Honor, based on the history, the prior DUI convictions, he's already out on that battery family violence from last month, where he's already out on a $5,000 good bond. The defendant's driving, he has a lengthy driver's history. 2021 speeding, 2017 violation of restricted conditions, 2017 permit suspension, 2016 suspension. 2018 suspension. 2019 suspension. 2020 suspension. 2021 suspension. 2022 suspension. 2023 suspension. 2024 suspension. 2025 suspension. 2026 suspension. 2027 suspension. 2028 suspension. 2029 suspension. 2030 suspension. 2031 suspension. 2032 suspension. 2033 suspension. 2034 suspension. 2035 suspension. 2036 suspension. 2037 suspension. 2038 suspension. 2039 suspension. 2040 suspension. 2041 suspension. 2042 suspension. 2043 suspension. 2044 suspension. 2045 suspension. 2046 suspension. 2047 suspension. 2048 suspension. 2049 suspension. 2050 suspension. 2051 suspension. 2052 suspension. 2053 suspension. 2054 suspension. 2055 suspension. 2056 suspension. 2057 suspension. 2058 suspension. 2059 suspension. 2060 suspension. 2061 suspension. 2062 suspension. 2063 suspen Based on his history, Your Honor, and based on the open cases, the state would be asking for a $10,000 surety bond, $8,000 on the DUI, $1,500 on the open container, $500 on the lane change, no driving, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. Nothing further.
All right. And
Actually, Your Honor, I apologize. Let me say one more thing. We do have concern just because he has probation violations, numerous probation violations over the last, he's had them consistently since 2010, but he also has this 2019 FTA, and he is wanted out of Lawrenceville right now from last month on a probation violation. So based on all of that, we have concern about whether or not he'll come back to court, likelihood to reoffend as well. And so that is why we're asking for those conditions. Nothing further.
all right, Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Jason Griggs is 43 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area his entire life. He does have family here, but family, of course, have very limited resources to assist him with bond. Mr. Griggs completed the 12th grade. He also has some college credits. He studied business healthcare administration. Currently, he is employed as a handyman, Your Honor. He has been working in this position for 2.5 years. He strongly denies the allegations. He states that on the day in question, he was actually driving to take care of the hold in Gwinnett. He maintains that this arises from a recent arrest that he had. He was on non-reporting status, and prior to having the opportunity to report that information to Gwinnett, he was arrested during this offense. He states that he adamantly denies that he was drinking any alcohol. He states that he was hysterical and emotional because of some news that he had gotten earlier in the day. Your Honor, I am requesting a signature bond on Mr. Griggs' behalf, and if Your Honor determines that he is ineligible, then I would ask for a more reasonable bond. Your Honor, I'm requesting a bond of no more than $4,000. If he's ineligible for a signature bond, that would be $2,000 for the DUI and $1,000 for each of the subsequent offenses. We are opposed to any driving restrictions. We would ask that he be allowed to drive in accordance with his privileges through DDS. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. I'm going to order the $10,000 surety bond with $8,000 on the DUI, $1,500 on the possession of an open container, and $500 on the driving improper lane change, for a total of $10,000. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And as far as driving goes, I think Mr. Griggs has gone well beyond being able to drive. I just don't want anyone to possibly get hurt. I'm going to order no driving while on bond at this time.
Your Honor, I do apologize for interrupting. May that bond be for, may the restriction be for work, attorney, and medical privileges, Your Honor? He needs to drive for a living. He does not work in one location, Your Honor.
I understand, but I don't want to wait until he has an accident and someone gets killed. He's got priors as far as his convictions. And he said he was going that day to see about this holding Gwinnett, but I hope he wouldn't have showed up there with the open containers and things of that nature. I guess, thank goodness he made it safely. I do have grave concerns about him driving right now. Maybe he's had
Your
time.
Honor,
Sorry?
I apologize, Your Honor. I'm not sure that that's factual, that he was driving to take care of his holds. It was this stop happened at 10:15 p.m. I don't know who goes to take care of business at that
Thank you for
time.
telling me that. That's important.
Yeah.
Mr. Griggs, please, if you have any questions, I'll give you a call. The judge is ruling.
Yeah, I'm not going to allow him to drive right now to make sure that he's going to be safe. There's many ways to get around. Ubers and Lyfts and all those kind of things, or other family members. I know he needs to work, but I'm concerned with his history and his driving record. It's just waiting to have something worse happen. And I just don't want any families to have to be subjected to that if we can help it. So I'm going to say that there should be no driving while on bond. If you need to file for a modification of the bond due to some other information, you're free to do that. But right now, Mr. Griggs, you are not to drive. And you will have to secure other services to get you around in the interim while you're on bond with this additional DUI charge that you have, okay? And did I say no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
And Your Honor, I am not questioning your ruling. I just wanted to clarify that I misspoke when I said that he was going to report for his probation. He was actually going to turn himself in, Your Honor. That is what I meant to say.
Oh, turn himself in, okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, well, let's give him some time to get things together before he gets back out on the road, because I'm just afraid right now for him to be back on the road.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just want to clarify the record.
No problem. I appreciate it.
You're done.
Right? Anything else? Okay.
Nothing further. Thank you, Your Honor.
I think Ms. Tortorello is back.
Position 3, Frederick.
You can go back to the other one. This is 22 CR 006892Y. Willie Frederick, you're charged with 1 count of battery. The offense date is October the 13th, 2022. Pretrial.
34 total. He has a hold out of Cobb County, failure to appear. Last arrest was back in March. Probation. He's on probation in Fulton, aggravated assault, 15 SC 133814. In 2015, they gave him 1 year to serve, 19 years probated. November 2021 in Cobb, misdemeanor obstruction, trespass, felony terrorist threats. That appears to be open. 2019 trespass, felony obstruction. I don't know the disposition of that one. 2019 simple battery, disorderly conduct. Those were dismissed. Pled no load of shoplifting in 2019. 2019 obstruction was a bind over. 2018 trespass, obstruction. 2017 simple battery, simple assault, public drunk. Those were convictions. 2017 obstruction, pled no load. It was a battery DV with the ag assault conviction that he's on probation for. The battery DV was a conviction. Like I said, that was a 2015 arrest. 2011 battery DV, pled no load. 2011 giving false name, no load. And a 06 disorderly conduct conviction. 04 felony terrorist threat, simple battery conviction. I'll stop there.
Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Backus.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred yesterday. An officer was dispatched to a dispute call at 1140 Dolphin Drive Southwest, Apartment 12. Upon arrival, the officer spoke with the victim, Mr. Milton Colbert, who advised that while inside of his apartment, he was punched in the head a few times by the defendant. The officer did observe visible injuries on Mr. Colbert. Specifically had a knot on his forehead, one on his jaw, and he had small scratches around his nose. This was also captured on the body-worn camera. The defendant told the officer that he was defending himself, but the officer noted in the report that the defendant had no injuries, no visible injuries, and he was taken into custody. And upon running his name, they found out he had an active Cobb County warrant for failure to appear on a terrorist threat charge. Mr. Jordan mentioned that he's got that November 2021 obstruction, felony, terroristic threats, and criminal trespass and public drunkenness. I did speak with Cobb earlier. He FTA'd on August 10th. And so he does have a bench warrant out, but he's also out on a $17,800 good bond. That case number is 22901086. Your Honor, we also spoke with the victim. And he said that they're recent friends. They've been friends no longer than 3 months. And the victim found out that the defendant didn't have anywhere to stay. And so he let him stay with him to help him get a job and get on his feet. He said it's not the first incident between the two of them. And he had called the police on the defendant a few weeks ago, but the police took too long to get there. And so when the police got there, the defendant was already gone. He did say that he wants no contact and he wants him to stay away from his address. He doesn't have any belongings there, so he doesn't need to return. Yeah, Your Honor. So basically, based on the history, the 2011 battery, family violence, the 2015 battery, family violence, 4 counts of ag assault, which he's already on probation for, 2017 simple battery and simple assault. The probation violations, he's got one as recently as March of this year. The state is going to ask for that $5,000 surety bond and no further contact with the victim, which is Milton Colbert. Stay away from the incident location, which is 1140 Dolphin Drive Southwest. We're going to ask that he stay away from the whole complex, not just apartment 12. 1-day anger awareness and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. Nothing further.
Do you know the name of the apartment complex?
Let me look it up.
Okay.
1 second, Your Honor. Dolphin Court Apartments.
Oh, okay. All right, Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Willie Frederick is 43 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area his entire life. He is the proud father of a 13-year-old child. He completed high school. He also attended technical college. He has some college credits in computer information systems. He is currently employed as a chef. He has only been in that position for the past 2 months. Therefore, he is still on probation, and it's not certain whether or not he still has a job. He states that he does not have anyone to help with bond. He also states that he is renting a room from the complaining witness, Mr. Colbert. He states that he has been struggling financially. His father passed away not long ago, and they lost the family home. Therefore, he had to find a place to live. He strongly denies the allegations. He states that he was, in fact, acting in self-defense. He maintains that Mr. Colbert actually swung on him. And he stated that the complaining witness knows that he is on probation and was basically trying to provoke him to get him into trouble. My client states that a struggle ensued and that he, in fact, actually has scratches on his person as well, including his hands, his wrists, and his legs, because he states that they fell to the ground. I am requesting a signature bond on Mr. Frederick's behalf, Your Honor. However, Your Honor determines that he is ineligible, I would ask for a more reasonable bond, given that he doesn't have the means nor anyone to help him with bond. I would ask for a bond of no more than $1,000. We are unopposed to the no contact and stay away orders. My client does not want to have any contact, but he does state that he has belongings there. So I would ask for a one-time law enforcement escort so that he can retrieve any belongings. Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, just to rebut what was said, again, the officer did note that he had no injuries on him. So if there were visible injuries to his hands or his body or whatever the case might be, I would be inclined to believe that he would have shown the officer that, and the officer had body worn camera on at the time. And so the officer said that that was not the case. And another thing, Your Honor, the victim opened up their home to this person to help them. And so I find it hard to believe that he wanted to antagonize him to get him in trouble. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm gonna order the $5,000 surety bond. I'm going to order a stay away from the Dolphin Court Apartment. So if you were residing there, Mr. Frederick, you'll need to find somewhere else to stay. I'm going to order you to have no further contact with the victim, Milton Colbert. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
Mr. Frederick, please do not make any statements. If you would like me to give you a call, I'm happy to do that.
And I think that's all I need to take up at this point. Is that right, counsel?
Your Honor, if you may order a one-time law enforcement escort.
I'm sorry, yes. And a one-time law enforcement escort for Mr. Frederick to retrieve his personal items. Please do not go back there, Mr. Frederick, without your law enforcement escort, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
15, Usher.
This 22 CR 006898Y. Daquan Usher, you're charged with 1 count of battery family violence. The offense date is 12/4/2021. Pretrial.
This 6th arrest. He got 4 previous out of Illinois. Last arrest was in July. Criminal trespass to vehicles, theft of lost and mislaid property. It says title/registration, possession offenses. Possession of a weapon, 3 counts. Before that was 2017, ag battery with a firearm, aggravated unlawful use of a weapon. There's no disposition for those. 2016, disorderly conduct, damage to property. 2014, battery, bodily harm. And he was arrested in Georgia back in 2020, which was a fugitive from justice out of Illinois. That's it. So that last arrest appears to be open in Chicago.
Okay.
Your Honor, so this incident occurred, as you noted, in December 4th of 2021. Officers responded to 9207 Parkview Lane, Alpharetta, Georgia, to an assault with injuries call. When they arrived, they heard a female crying inside. That female was Miss Turner, and just so Your Honor is aware, Miss Turner is on the call. Miss Turner is the parent of a child with the defendant. Their child was at home at the time of the incident. Miss Turner complained of a possibly broken left arm, and she was unable to lift her arm without causing pain, and told the officers it was painful to the touch. Miss Turner just told the officers that she was trying to do laundry at the time when her and the defendant tried to basically push her aside while she was doing laundry to do his own. She told him not to push her, and at that point, he pushed her again into a refrigerator, and then eventually when she fell to the ground, and at that point sustained injuries to her arm. Again, so Your Honors, where the victim has since claimed that the incident did not occur as the officers described in the report, and saying that her injury was not what they said. However, while we have no medical records saying exactly what her injury was, we do have a record that her dismissal instructions included instructions about how to recover from an elbow dislocation, and that whenever the officer spoke with her on that same night at 10 o'clock, she told him that she was getting sedated for a medical procedure where they were putting the arm back into place. So for these reasons, Your Honor, we're going to be requesting a $7,500 surety bond, a no further contact with the victim, stay away order from the address, if needed, a third-party contact with the child, a one-day anger awareness class, or preferably a family violence intervention program, an ankle monitor, and a no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. And Your Honor, the reason why for the extensive conditions is because all of the arrests that occurred in Illinois As far as the state is aware, he has a driver's license from Illinois. That arrest, that most recent arrest that happened in July was in Illinois, which means that it happened after this incident, which occurred in 2021. 7 months later, he was in Chicago getting arrested for different crimes. So because he has been arrested in Illinois, his most recent arrest was a fugitive from justice and from Georgia. And all of his arrests are related to usually damage, possession of a firearm, aggravated battery. For these reasons, we think those extra conditions are necessary.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Usher he is 26 years old, Your Honor, and he has been here in Georgia about 2 years. He moved from Illinois, and his I guess co-parent, Miss Turner, I think she is on the Zoom right now. They work together at warehouse, and they have one child together, so they are alternating childcare. For example, like if Ms. Turner has to work, he's taking care of the child, and vice versa. And right now, he's afraid that he's going to lose a job because he was not able to go there for a couple of days. He really needs to keep his job, and he graduated from high school, and we would like to request for signature on bond. This happened almost about a year ago, 10 months ago, Your Honor, and they are fine. There's no other incidents, and I guess they get along well right now. And I'm sure that Ms. Turner can testify for that part. I don't think that she is afraid of Mr. Usher. I would like to request for signature on bond. And if Your Honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond because of the open case, which he is presumed to be innocent, we would like to request for a maximum $1,000 good bond. Thanks.
All right, I am going to.
Do I get to speak?
I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Thanks for reminding me again. I didn't leave you
Yes,
out.
I don't want you to make no decisions without asking me because
I apologize. Yes, thank you for taking your time to come on. Ms. Turner, raise your right hand for me.
Mhm.
Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let me ask you this.
If you hear music in the background, I'm sorry, my baby is right here.
Oh, I actually cannot, so it's
Okay.
Good. Do you are you in fear of Mr. Usher?
Not at all.
Okay. And you all live together?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you lease or purchase?
Lease.
Okay. Whose name's on that lease?
Both.
Both. Okay. How long have you been together?
So going on 7 years.
Okay. And you have just the one child?
Uh-huh.
All right. Anything else you want to tell me about this incident?
Yes, and I also want to well, I'm sorry, it was started off as us playing around. You know how you be playing with somebody. That's how it started. I know he didn't mean to do it. That's the only reason. You know that we are okay. We haven't had any. I'm sorry, people keep calling me. I don't know if you guys can keep hearing. Are you hearing me still?
I can hear you. Yes.
You can hear me? Okay, I'm sorry. People keep calling me. But that's the only time that we've ever had an incident like that. Stop, baby. And I do want to say I would like for him to get a signature bond because we are the only two people that we have out here dealing with her. Like he said, when we goes to work, when I go to work in the morning, he goes to work, he has the baby, and when he goes to work at night, I have the baby. He is the only help I have. So since he's been gone, I have not been at work. We both been missing work. And, we don't have any type of conflicts of that sort like that. This situation was just something that was blown out of proportion. And like as Jacob stated, my arm is never broken. It was out of place. I don't have any of the paperwork. When I talked to I don't know who I talked to this morning, But I talked to somebody this morning when she asked me, I told her the only thing I had was the papers that they gave me to basically stating that, you know, it was out of place or whatever. It was never broken. It was dislocated. And they put me in I want to say a sling, if that's what it's called, that that you wrap your ankle up with when you twist your ankle. It was something like that. I literally was out of it in a week, back in the gym and everything like that. It was never nothing. It wasn't even like, a serious situation. And when they did sedate me, it was because I'm dramatic. So you can't do something to me and I don't know what's gonna happen. So they did that to calm me down.
Okay. All right. I appreciate your testimony. Any cross-examination by the state?
Just briefly, Your Honor.
Okay.
Ms. Turner, so on the incident of December 4th, you did receive medical attention?
Yes.
And your elbow was dislocated that night?
Yes, it was out of place.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Kim?
Nothing further.
I definitely would agree on the signature bond because we are all each other heads out here. Like, we don't have nobody else. It's just me and him. And I definitely feel like the state is trying to ask for a little extreme.
Well, we want to make sure that you're safe.
I would definitely, it's been almost a year. We've been around each other since then. Well, my birthday was 4 days after that. He was the only person who got me something anyways. Like, we've been literally, if anything has occurred before then, I wouldn't even be doing this. This is my first time even having to be in a courtroom. Like I said, we don't have these type of issues. Been together for 7 years. So we're a 2-year-old.
Right.
And I'm definitely, if I felt unsafe, I would tell you.
We want to make sure of that. What type of work do you do?
We both work at I guess it's called a glue company. We make like nail glue.
You make who?
Nail glue, wood glue. We make glue.
Oh, glue. Glue.
Yeah. I package it and he makes it.
Okay. I'm going to order the surety bond in the amount of the $7,500 based on Mr. Usher's record and what I've heard about that. So it's going to be a $7,500 surety bond. I know that it has been over a year. And I'm assuming in that year you all have continued to live together.
Oh, yes, ma'am. My definitely has lived together since then. I was just about to say, my baby been asking the whole couple days, Daddy, where are you? That's her little thing. So she's right here peeking, looking at him. And,
right. So with the surety bond, I usually order stay away from the location.
Yeah, I see Daddy too, baby. I see. I'm sorry.
For a cooling off period. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to, as long as there's going to be no further violent contact, I won't do the stay away. I'll just do the no further violent contact. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time hearing because my baby is right in my ear. I'm so sorry.
I know. Maybe we should not let her see Dad there in the background. No further violent contact with you. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while he's on bond. And I'm going to order him to take a 1-day anger awareness course. Okay, so those will be his bond conditions, and to have no further violent contact with you or your daughter or anything like that while he's on bond. Okay.
So what's the bond?
$7,500 surety bond. Once you go through a bonding company, they'll tell you how much you need to pay of that. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Anything else, counsel, that I need to take up?
Nothing further.
All right, good luck to you. All right, thank you.
9, Mac.
And Deputy, did we lose our place with position 11 that we had started?
No, we're just on position 9.
Okay. This is 22CR006886J. Christopher Mack, you're charged with 1 count of simple battery family violence. The offense date is May the 1st, 2022. Pretrial.
This is 9th arrest. Last was 2016 for misdemeanor obstruction. Before that was 2005, misdemeanor obstruction. Possession of a firearm by convicted felon. 2 counts of misdemeanor obstruction. Those were convictions. He had a capital offense from 1997. I'm not sure what happened with that case. I'll put in check for you, but that's all.
All right. And this is ASG Duncan.
Yes, Your Honor. In addition to what pretrial stated, I saw upon my review of the GCIC for cycle 9, a battery arrest from October 11, 2022. This incident that occurred on May 1st, 2022, it happened at 4900 Delano Road, apartment J8. The victim in this case is Shaquita Malone. That's ShaquitaMalone. In this instance, officers were dispatched to the location and they encountered the victim, and she told them that her boyfriend, who also lived with her, Mr. Christopher Mack, the defendant in this case, had hit her and that he slapped her in the face with an open hand after getting upset about her talking to another person. Officers did not observe any visible injuries. However, we do have a concern about the risk of reoffense in this case, given the defendant's history as stated by pretrial and myself. And we do have somewhat of a concern about the intimidation of the witness as they are in a romantic relationship. There are concerns about intimidation as far as the cycles of violence, as Your Honor knows. In this case, we will be requesting a $2,500 surety, no further contact with the victim in this case, and stay away from the incident location, 1-day anger awareness, no alcohol, drugs, and weapons, and no further violations of Georgia law. We believe it's more than reasonable in this case. We were not able to make contact with the victim. However, if Your Honor wants to sound, she can, because maybe the victim was able to make it to the Zoom, but out of an abundance of caution, we think the recommendation is more than reasonable, nothing further from the state.
Okay, I don't know that I see Shaquita Malone on the Zoom calls. There's Shaquita Malone on. I do not. So go ahead, Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Christopher Mack is 48 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area his entire life. He has 3 children, ages 25 and 22. He also has a 16-year-old for which he does pay child support, Your Honor. Mr. Mack informed me that he and the complaining witness, Shaquita Malone, do not live together. This incident allegedly occurred back in May. He states that he does not live with her. He's not in contact with her, nor does he want to have any contact with her whatsoever. Mr. Mack completed the 11th grade. He went on to obtain a GED. He is currently employed. He works at a local concrete company. He has been with that particular company for 1.5 years. He strongly denies the allegations. He states that these are all lies and that he in fact, filed a restraining order against her. He does not, again, as I stated earlier, he does not wish to see her. Your Honor, he also states that he does not have anyone to help him with his bond and that he needs to get back to work because people are depending on him. I am requesting a signature bond on Mr. Mack's behalf. According to the report I received, he is eligible for a signature bond. He states that he was unaware of the warrant. And again, as we heard, this incident occurred back, or is alleged to have occurred back in May of 2022. Regarding my client's history, I do acknowledge that he does have some history, but I believe that His offenses are quite remote, Your Honor. And of course, the 2011, we did not hear any disposition, or I don't believe that I heard disposition for the 2011 battery offense, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right.
And just to clarify for the record, that additional battery from cycle 9 is from October 11, 2022. So a couple of days before this event, Your Honor. Nothing further.
All right. I'm going to order a $2,500 signature bond through pretrial. I'm going to order no further contact with the victim should plead him alone. 1-day anger awareness course. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I guess that is it. Do we want to stay away or no?
Yes.
He doesn't reside there, did you say, or he does, or hasn't? But I mean, I can do it. It's up to you.
At the time of the incident, Your Honor, it is alleged from the warrant that he did reside there. However, they were residing together. We're not sure if she still resides there, so we'll be asking for that stay away.
All right. Give me that address again. We'll do a stay away.
4900 Delano, that's Delano Road, apartment J8.
And Your Honor, the defense is unopposed.
Okay, gotcha. All right, and stay away from that location. And I think that will do it. If there's anything else.
Nothing further.
All right, thank you.
Thank y'all.
Position 8, Lucius.
Okay. This is 22 CR 006888A. Michael Lucius. You're charged with 1 count of forgery in the 4th degree. Offense date October the 13th, 2022. Pretrial.
19 total. He's a resident of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. As far as the Georgia history, his last arrest was in 2004, fugitive from justice. The majority of his history come out of Alabama. Last arrest was October 2021. Unauthorized use of a vehicle, unlawful breaking and entering, 2 counts. Trespass, March 2021, smuggling contraband, property crimes, theft of property. 2019, unauthorized use of a vehicle, unlawful breaking and entering. Other smuggling contraband, 2019. 2019, shoplifting, conviction. 2018, failure to appear. 2018, property crimes. 2018, failure to appear. 2017, possession of a forged instrument. 2016, family offense, harassment, it was dismissed. 2015, 2 counts of unauthorized use of a vehicle, breaking and entering. 2012, burglary. 2012, unlawful breaking and entering again. 2012, property crime, conviction. Before that was 08 burglary. 07 contempt of court, 06 robbery in the 1st degree. It just says indicted. That's it.
All right. G. Duncan.
That is correct, Your Honor. This incident did occur on October 12, 2022 at the Regions Bank located at 600 South Central Avenue in Hapeville, Georgia. The defendant walked into that bank and he attempted to cash a fraudulent check. It was made out to him and it was purported to be made out to him in the amount of $1,166.77 from the other victim in this case, John Housley. John, common spelling, last name Halsey. When officers were able to make contact with Mr. Housley, he said that he did not make the check to the defendant in this case. And in fact, he did not know the defendant in this case. And further, that the check that was purported to be tendered to the bank at that time had been used prior and made as a donation to a church and not to the defendant in this case. So it was a completely forged instrument at that time. We do have some concern about risk of reoffense in this case. This defendant does have a 2017 cycle with the criminal possession of a forged instrument out of Alabama. We also have concerns about his ties to the community, given that he's a resident of Tuscaloosa. Most of his history is out of Alabama. So we have some concerns there, along with the flight risk, given that this defendant does have multiple FTA arrests in his history, Your Honor. Given that, we believe that a $2,000 surety bond in this case is more than reasonable. No further contact with the victim in this case, John Halsey, and stay away from all regions in Fulton County. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons. No further violations of Georgia law and a theft class. Nothing further from the state.
Okay. And Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Michael Lucius is 36 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area for 1 month. He informed me that he actually relocated here from Tuscaloosa, Alabama for a new start. He is the proud father of 3 children, ages 18, well, 2 children at age 18 and ages 18 and a 16-year-old. He states that he does have a child support order that he pays. Your Honor, Mr. Lucius obtained a GED. He also went on to vocational school. He took some classes toward becoming an electrician, but he is not working in that capacity now. He states that he basically does day work when he can. He strongly denies the allegations. He states that the check, in fact, was given to him for some patio work that he had completed. He was unaware that the check was fraudulent. He states that he does not have anyone to call for bond, and it is very likely that he has lost his job, being that it was just a day type work anyway. I do acknowledge Mr. Luscious's history. However, for this nonviolent offense, Your Honor, I am requesting a signature bond on Mr. Lucius' behalf. He just states that he doesn't have anyone to call, and any bond, Your Honor, would be akin to no bond. We are unopposed to the no contact and stay away conditions, but we would ask that the stay away just be limited to the incident location, and we are opposed to the theft class, as I do have some real concerns about his ability to pay for that, and we do not want to set him up for any bond to violate bond, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to order the $2,000 surety bond. I'm going to order stay away from the 600 South Central Avenue in Hateville. Going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And that should conclude everything. Anything else, counsel?
Nothing further. And Mr. Lucius, I'm happy to give you a call at the jail. Please do not make any statements. The judge has ruled.
How much was that?
2,000, good bond.
Judge Mincy,
Yes.
intern Jacob Stevens had to step out to address a matter that came up.
Okay.
So I was just letting the court know so that he may be excused.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask, Your Honor, did your ruling include for position 8 that there be no further contact with the victim in this
No,
case,
I
John?
apologize. I left that out. Ms. Champion, can you make sure that you include that he is to have no further contact? I think it's John
Halsey.
No
Yes,
further
ma'am.
contact with the victim. Thank you.
And Your Honor, I do believe that we indicated that we're unopposed.
Okay, thank you.
Nothing further.
Okay.
Position 2, Champagne.
This is 22 CR 006894F. Roland Champagne, you're charged with 1 count of theft of services, 2nd count of theft by shoplifting, both with the offense date of June 29, 2022. Pretrial.
This is 8th adult arrest. He got history out of New Jersey. I'll give you the Jersey history first. 2020, theft by unlawful taking. 2018, theft by unlawful taking. That's a felony conviction. Another 2018 arrest, felony theft by unlawful taking. The robbery with that was dismissed. 2013 shoplifting conviction. Another 2013 arrest, possession of marijuana. Possession with the intent to use drug, I guess paraphernalia. Those are dismissed. He had a CWAC from when he was a juvie. January 2022 out of Marietta, theft by taking, that was dismissed. And March 2021, case that was dismissed out of Cobb. I'll put it in the chat for you. That's it.
Okay.
Your Honor, this incident occurred back on June 29th of this year. Ms. Kidler, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it, but a manager of the European Wax Center located at 8050 Roswell Road made a complaint to the Sandy Springs Police Department in reference to a theft that occurred. She stated that on that date, a regular customer of many of the European Wax Centers had come in and received services totaling $236. When finished, the defendant went up to the register. It can be seen on the camera placing some brightening ingrown hair serum into his bag. When informed of the total, he said he needed to go to his vehicle to transfer money into his account, but he never returned. When the store called him later in that day, he said he was standing in the line at Bank of America to withdraw money, and again, never came back. One employee searched their system using his phone number and determined that he had done it at several other locations as well. And she said that he would use stolen credit cards and fake names. In this instance, the defendant did use a fake name. However, the employee was able to take the phone number, put it in Cash App, and that's how she got the defendant's legal name. She then did a Facebook search with that name and confirmed that it was the same individual who was responsible for the theft in the store earlier. Video footage was obtained of the defendant in the store. And so the officer then did some research and was able to watch body cam footage from a July traffic stop and compared it to the video in the store and ascertained that it was, again, the same individual. There is an $8,000 surety bond in place. We are amenable to reducing to $2,000 surety bond, $1,000 on each count, a stay away from all European wax centers in Georgia, and a theft class. Your Honor, this is based on the fact that he has a history both in Georgia and New Jersey, but many thefts on his record. And so the state feels as though that $2,000 surety bond is more than appropriate. Nothing further.
All right. And go ahead, Ms. Gant, I'm sorry.
No worries, Your Honor. Mr. Roland Champagne is 28 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area for 2 years. He is married and he does not have any children. Mr. Champagne completed high school. He also studied criminal justice in college, but he did not finish. He states that he is employed at a local staffing company, and he is scheduled to start a new job at MARTA next week. He states that he does not have much, if anything, to pay toward bond. I did speak with his husband. He states that he is unable to help with bond. Mr. Champagne strongly denies the allegations. He states that one, he was unaware of the warrant. Number two, he strongly denies that it's him. He believes that someone is using his name. He states that he was out of the country in the Dominican Republic on June 23rd through July 8th. And he was also out of the country on August 23rd through August 30th. He states that he does have proof that he was out of the country during that time. I am requesting a signature bond on Mr. Champagne's behalf through the jail, Your Honor. He, of course, doesn't have the means to pay anything, and I do acknowledge his history. However, I believe I understand there's an arrest. My client in 2022, my client informed me that that case was in fact dismissed. He states that he has receipts for that as well. It was involving a defective tire that he returned to the merchant. And I heard remote history in 2018. Therefore, Your Honor, again, I am requesting a signature bond through the jail. We are unopposed to any stay away conditions at the incident location. However, we are opposed to the theft class. I do not believe that he will be able to afford that, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. And we don't have any victims or anything on the line, I think, do we?
No, no, it would just be the staff from the European Wax Center. Again, Your Honor, just to briefly state, I just would be, I'm mindful of the theft history. That's it.
Okay. And give me the state's recommendations again on the bond amount.
$2,000 surety, $1,000 on each count, and stay away from all European wax centers in Georgia.
All right, I will issue that $2,000 surety bond, $1,000 on each charge. And to stay away from all the European wax centers.
Your Honor, can I speak to you? I'm sorry.
No, Mr. Champagne, please remain silent. Mr. Champagne, I have made my case to the judge. We do not want her to increase your bond, nor do we want you to incriminate yourself by saying something that you think may be helpful. Whatever you contribute is not likely to contribute, or it will not contribute her decision, Your Honor. So, Mr. Champagne, so please remain silent. Thank you.
Thank you. As a $2,000 surety bond, $1,000 on each charge. Stay away from all European wax centers. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. All right. Anything else, counsel?
Nothing further from the state. Thank you, Your Honor.
Nothing further, Your Honor. I do apologize.
Oh, that's okay.
For the interruption.
I wasn't going to speak at all.
Mr. Champagne, would you like me to give you a call? I'm happy to.
I don't understand because I was out of the country.
Mr. Champagne, we've made those arguments, sir. Please remain silent.
Position 1, Carmichael.
This is 22 CR 0068990G. Terence Wesley Carmichael, you're charged with 1 count of battery family violence. The offense date is 10/13/2022. Pretrial?
6 total. Last arrest was in August, trespass. He pled no load to that in Clayton County. He's on probation for that. January, failed to appear out of Cobb. He has a battery and shoplifting conviction, 2021 out of Cobb. What else? Suspended license from 2019. That's all.
All right.
Your Honor, this incident occurred yesterday. An officer responded to 579 Lyndhurst Drive Southwest regarding a dispute between family members. Upon arrival, a Black male who was later identified as the defendant exited the house and began to yell in the officer's direction. He said that he was having an argument between 2 different family members that live inside the home. The officer then spoke to the victim, Miss Kanice Reed. Kanice is spelled Kanice, I believe. Last name Reed is Reid. She advised that her and the defendant are in a relationship and share a child. And she recounted that she was sleeping when she was awakened by the defendant yelling about pizza. Ms. Reed attempted to take her son upstairs while the defendant was throwing her things out of the home. He followed her upstairs and got physical with her. And she said that he grabbed her from behind with his arm around her neck and simultaneously struck her with a closed fist on the side of her head, as well as scratched her around her neck when his arm was around her. Ms. Patricia Carmichael, who is the defendant's mother, also lives in the house, and she told the officer that she witnessed her son grab Ms. Reed around the neck from behind, she demonstrated it to the officer and said that he swung on her during the altercation. The officer did observe scratches on the neck of Ms. Reed and swelling to the left side of her head above her left eye. Your Honor, based on the fact that this defendant has an FTA as recently as January, and he also has a battery conviction from 2021, the state is asking for a $4,000 surety bond, no further contact with Kenise Reed, stay away from the incident location. Again, that's 579 Lyndhurst Avenue or Lyndhurst Drive Southwest. 1-day anger awareness and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Nothing further.
All right, Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Terence Carmichael is 26 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area for 2 years. He informed me that he actually has been in a relationship with Ms. Carmichael. Well, the state referred to her, I believe it's Ms. Reed. However, he tells me that that is in fact his wife. They've been together for 8 years and married for 3. They share a 3-year-old child. They both live together in the marital home at the incident location, Your Honor. Mr. Carmichael completed high school, and he states that he just found a job at Amazon. He started there about 2 weeks ago. He is on probation at his job, and he is very concerned that he may have lost that job because he did not report. He strongly denies the allegations, and regarding contact, Your Honor, he does want to continue having contact. I did reach out to Mrs. Carmichael. She did call me back, but we did not get a chance to speak. So I am unclear regarding her position on contact. Therefore, I would defer to the court's ruling. However, we are requesting no violent contact. We are opposed to the stay away. However, if Your Honor orders no contact, I would ask for a one-time law enforcement escort so that he can retrieve his belongings and third-party transfer so that he can continue to see his child. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
Your Honor, again, I would just note to the court that the police report did indicate he denies the allegations. However, there was swelling and scratches on her. Nothing further.
And Your Honor, again, he's presumed innocent. These are allegations at this point. Mr. Michael, I do not want you to speak. The judge is about to rule.
This is relevant information towards the case.
Mr. Carmichael, please remain silent, sir. The judge is about to rule. I'm happy to give you a call afterward if you'd like to speak.
Yes, I would gladly like that call, yes.
Thank you, sir. I will. I apologize, Your Honor.
That's okay. All right, I'm going to order $4,000 surety bond. I'm going to order stay away from 579 Lyndhurst Drive Southwest.
26 days.
And I'm a little torn on this contact. So is it Kanita? Not sure if I'm pronouncing it right.
Based on the police report, it was spelled Kanice. So I think Kenise, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to order that stay away from, is it Kenise Reed?
Yes, Your Honor.
And no drugs, alcohol, and weapons while on bond, or weapons while on bond. I think that's it. Anything else, counsel, I need to take up?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor, one-time law enforcement escort.
Oh, that's right. I'm
and
sorry.
Third-party transfer.
Yes, one-time law enforcement escort. And if there's any visitation allowed with the child, that should be done by a third party. And I wrote that, third party visitation. All right, anything else?
Nothing further.
Nothing
Thank you.
further. Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
11 Myers.
Wow.
All right, we're gonna pick back up with 22 CR 006891J, Jermaine Myers. I'll read the charges again. 1 count of simple battery in a public transit vehicle, and then 2 counts of disorderly conduct, all from the offense date of October 13th, 2022. And I understand we have a witness, Michael Anderson. Is he still on?
Yes, Your Honor, the victim's still on.
He's there, Judge. He's just in the dark. He just need to go somewhere light.
Oh. So,
Want me to give you the history?
yes, go ahead, pretrial. Well, I think we had it where
She
we.
wasn't, I think she was
Yeah.
on the phone call though, that's why.
Oh, but she was on, yeah, so go
Yeah.
ahead and give me the history again, to be safe, because I wrote it down.
8th arrest. Last was 2014, misdemeanor possession of marijuana, dismissed. 2008, felony terroristic threats, dismissed. 06, theft by taking, first offender. 02, carrying concealed weapon, dismissed. 01, same thing. And a 99 air assault, dismissed. That's it.
Okay. And then Ms. Tartarello?
Yes, Your Honor, we will be pursuing this case as a hate crime, and we will be filing in the appropriate motion. Your Honor, this incident occurred on October 13th, 2022 at the MARTA, inside a MARTA train. The incident location is 855 East Paces Ferry Road in Atlanta. This defendant is a threat and danger to the person of Michael Anderson. Victim Michael Anderson, who is gay, advised police that he was sitting down inside the MARTA train, minding his business, when the defendant, Jermaine Myers, gets on the train at Brookhaven. The defendant begins his conversation with Mr. Anderson by calling him Derek Cooper. Upon further investigation by the Solicitor General's office, Derek Cooper is a man that makes gay porn videos. Then the defendant proceeds to call and tell Mr. Anderson, quote, "You are special," and shows him a bloody voodoo picture, and further says, quote, "I'm going to fuck your life up," end quote. The defendant then kicks Mr. Anderson and then takes Mr. Anderson's picture without his permission. Mr. Anderson, in fear, Your Honor, runs to the back of the train, gets on the intercom, and states he is going to press charges. The defendant threatens in response by stating, quote, "Walk off the train before I fuck your faggot life up," end quote. Defendant walks toward Mr. Anderson, kicks him again, and then strikes him in the ear. The defendant was arrested, and these events occurred in Fulton County, Georgia. To add, Your Honor, we are concerned about the intimidation of this victim, concerned for the victim's safety, and also others of that are part of the LGBTQ community, as this was clearly a targeted act against Mr. Anderson. The fact that he did this to a person he does not even know, Your Honor, and in the public triggers public safety concern as well. Your Honor, as you've heard from pretrial, he has 8 cycles out of Georgia, a 2003 carrying a concealed weapon conviction at Fulton County State Court. He's had dismissals of involving violent offenses, Your Honor, but he has that on his record. Terroristic threats he was charged with in 2008 was dismissed, and aggravated assault, which he was arrested for in 1999 at a Camden County, which was dismissed, Your Honor. But here we are in with this case, Your Honor, before this jurisdiction. For that reason, Your Honor, the state's asking for the simple battery charge for the $1,000 surety bond to increase to a $4,000 surety bond. Your Honor, just to make the record clear, this charge was initially, he was booked in initially for simple assault. For this disorderly conduct, the state's asking for a $1,000 surety bond, and also for the second count of disorderly conduct, a $1,000 surety bond. That's a total of a $6,000 surety bond total. No contact with the victim, Mr. Michael Anderson, to stay away from all MARTA property, 1-day anger management, no drugs or alcohol, no weapons, and no violations of Georgia law. Nothing further from the state.
Good afternoon again, Your Honor. My client is 41 years old. He is gainfully employed in IT, and he also works as a carpenter. I would like to address his alleged criminal history, Your Honor. My client does not have any convictions on his record. At least that's what I heard from pretrial. He may have been arrested, but being arrested does not mean someone did something wrong. And I would just like to make that clear. He has no criminal history of any convictions. He certainly was not convicted, unless I did not hear what pretrial said. He was not convicted of anything. He was arrested, but the arrests were dismissed. And when they are dismissed, that means the person does not have a record. So he has no record of any violence. The other thing is that all of these arrests are remote. A long time ago, my client is a law-abiding citizen. He is gainfully employed. He presents a completely contradictory testimony as to what happened, Your Honor. My client was on the train when he was inappropriately solicited by the complaining witness. He was somewhat repelled, which is to be expected because he's not gay and one does not expect a stranger to solicit them on the train. He told my client that he wanted him to take pictures, of my client, and he in fact took a picture of my client, and that was what really upset my client.
Objection, Your Honor. I would appreciate if counsel, if we stay within the four corners of the warrant. This is a very sensitive matter, and she's just going based on statements that her client's telling her with no evidence, Your Honor. We have probable cause to arrest, and this was also viewed on surveillance, Your Honor.
What was viewed on surveillance was the two of them, what my client did. Yes, but there was no conversation recording as to what was being said between the both of them. My client is not like he would just, no one would, unless they had mental illness or something, would just go off like that. There was something. He tells me it was very inappropriate and it was very upsetting to him. He sat there and he waited for the police to come so he could tell them what had happened, because he thought that the complaining witness would have been arrested for what he did to him. Instead, he was arrested. This is not a hate crime. My client does not have any issues with the LGBTQ community at all, but he just did not like the inappropriate behavior that the complaining witness presented to him. I would ask the court to consider giving my client a signature bond, Your Honor. When you look at his history, he does not have any criminal history, and any interaction with the law has been remote. And he does have a legitimate argument as to what causes altercation between the two of them. It's not a situation where someone just randomly goes off on someone. If someone takes your picture and you think it's inappropriate, you're naturally going to get very upset. And this is what happened. My client was upset because this man, after propositioning him inappropriately, took his photograph.
Okay, that argument will be further made for trial. I'm only determining bond.
And Your Honor,
I'm sorry.
Just to make the record clear, he does have a 2003 conviction. I just double checked for carrying a concealed weapon in 2003, and he does have a criminal history, as he does have 8 cycles and arrests. I do have the victim on the line, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, Ms. Tartarello?
I do have the victim on the line. He would like to speak.
Oh, that's right, Mr. Anderson. Yes, Mr. Anderson, raise your right hand. Oh, you've got to unmute yourself. See the little red, the microphone? see it going along the bottom there.
Apparently, Mr. Anderson is operating in an area where his internet is not connected properly. He's on a phone. He just went off. I don't know. He's in and out, so I don't think he understands how to operate the Zoom link, Judge.
Yeah. Did you have a conversation with him, Ms. Tortorella?
Yes, Your Honor. What he did tell me is that he was in fear, and that he also can't believe that he was attacked based on his preference, and that he wants no contact with this defendant.
Okay. All right. That will be sufficient. I'm going. No, you don't need to talk, Mr. Myers. Is that who that is? Okay.
Yes, it is, Your Honor, Mr. Myers.
I am going to order a $5,000 surety bond. So that will be $3,000 on the simple battery, $1,000 on each of the disorderlies, and that will be a total of $5,000 surety bond. I'm going to order, obviously, no further contact with Michael Anderson, the victim. Did the state ask for a stay away or not? I didn't.
We did. We stay away from all MARTA stations.
All right. Gonna stay away from all MARTA. So Mr. Myers, in order to get around, you need to find other means to get around with Uber.
Your Honor, may I say something further? My client does not have any relatives in the Metro Atlanta area. He and I spoke at length about that, or any close friends who can bond him out. He tells me that he's in no position to bond himself out. He doesn't have any money at all. So if he doesn't get a signature bond, he's just going to sit in jail. He will not be able to work or do anything because he does not have any relatives or close friends in the Metro Atlanta area who he can even contact to bond him out.
Your Honor, you've stated your ruling on record in the state.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick to that, Ms. McLeod, but I have noted what you said. I'm gonna stick to the $5,000 surety bond, and a stay away from all MARTA, and no further contact with the victim, Michael Anderson. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. All right. There's nothing else that will conclude the ruling.
Position 12, O'Connell.
Your Honor, that concludes my business before the court. May I be excused?
Yes, you may. Have a good weekend.
You too, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, this is 22 CR 006893G, Anthony O'Connell. You're charged with one count of theft of laid or mislaid property. Offense date is 10/13/2022. Pre-trial?
I got first arrest. I think he went to felony earlier.
Okay.
He got pretrial and felony. So
Yeah, okay.
yeah, I recommend it for this one since you can go with that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the felony was theft by receiver.
All right, Ms. Tortorella?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred on October 13th, 2022 at 402 Sawtell Avenue Southeast in Atlanta. this defendant poses a threat and danger to the property of AT&T and property of any person, Your Honor. The victim here was AT&T. The defendant, Anthony O'Connell, took fiber cable belonging to the company located near an AT&T pole at the incident location. AT&T was able to track the cable at the defendant's home. Defendant did not take reasonable measures to return the property to AT&T, and the property was less than $1,500. A defendant was arrested, and these events occurred in Fulton County, Georgia. Your Honor, what further concerns the state is that he was booked in at the same time as this case for another case. It's actually the felony case that pretrial just mentioned, 22 CP 213186 for theft by taking felony and a theft by deception. Two offense dates. The theft by taking occurred on September 2nd, 22, and then the theft by deception occurred on September 6th, 2022. So he does pose a flight risk. He poses a risk of reoffending and committing felonies while out on bond. He also has 7 cycles out of New Jersey, 1 cycle out of Alabama, 1 cycle out of Virginia, 4 cycles out of Florida, and 11 cycles out of Georgia, Your Honor. This defendant is clearly a multi-state offender. The convictions for theft, a 2016 conviction of theft by unlawful taking out of Passaic County Superior Court in New Jersey. The burglary charge was dismissed. He was recently arrested in 2019 for theft by taking and criminal trespass out of DeKalb County. A 2017 fugitive from justice arrest out of Fulton County, Your Honor, and he has a FDA in 2021 out of DeKalb County, just to highlight those things. But he does have an extensive criminal history in various different states, Your Honor. So that's another reason why he poses a flight risk. We're asking for a $2,000 surety bond for this charge. The conditions is that he stay away from the incident location at 402 Sawtell Avenue Southeast in Atlanta, and that he take an anti-theft class. No drugs or alcohol, no weapons, and no violations of Georgia law. Nothing further.
Yes, Your Honor, didn't the pretrial say that this was his first cycle? Did I misunderstand?
Yeah, well, I think first Georgia
Okay.
arrest, and I think Ms. Tartarello gave the other states, correct? Yes.
Yes, and I could double check that for opposing counsel, but that's what we have. He has arrests in various states.
Pre-trial. I think he may have gotten up.
Because when there are multi-state offender, there's an indication that we can kind of know a little bit about it, but I never heard he had other charges in other states. So maybe, is it the same person? His name is Christopher O'Connell. Birthday is April 8, 1982. I just want to make sure it's the same person that we are talking
Is
about.
his name not Anthony?
You hear his
What is
pre-trial.
it?
Anthony is his middle name, but his name, he goes by Christopher.
Well, the booking sheet says Anthony, so
Mhm.
that's the history that was ran, and
And you don't
my
show
coworker
any
ran
other.
it. Let me see.
We have Christopher O'Connell here.
That's what you have?
Birth date 5/25. Wait,
That's a different birthday.
A different birthday.
Christopher, race, birth date, height, weight.
I mean, now that he been fingerprinted, it can really be generated now once the fingerprint hit. But I got first arrest. I mean, I can run it real quick.
Yeah, can you please?
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Hold on. So let me ask you this. Am I running it based on the information on the booking sheet?
He has several AKAs, Christopher O'Connell, Anthony O'Connell.
And then which birth date is he using? That may
April
matter.
8, 1982.
Yeah, he got, see, it's a,
There's 2 birthdays.
it is.
It's
it is.
5/25/78 and 4/8/82, which is why Christopher O'Connell is also on his GCIC report.
Thank you, Ms. Glover.
Oh, that wasn't me. That was actually Miss Glover. But
That
I
was
was
me,
going
yeah.
to reiterate what she said, which is yes, when we did the GCIC, when Miss Glover ran it, it did come back. She ran it on Christopher O'Connell, which is the alias of Anthony O'Connell. He's booked in under Anthony, under Christopher, and under Christopher Michael. And yes, his GCIC has a date of birth of 4/8/82, which he gave on October 13th, of May 25th, 1978, which he gave on April of 2021, and then of May 28th of 1978, which he gave on August 8th of 2007. The NCICs pulled from the date of birth that he previously gave previous to his arrest yesterday.
Yeah,
So
so
this is
this
the first
roll with
time
that
and
history
this
then.
date of birth of April was yesterday.
Right, it was yesterday.
Yeah, so roll with whatever history they have.
Which has the multi-state offender.
Yes.
Right. Okay,
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Howard.
thank you. All right, go ahead, Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. I thought he was recommended for unsecured judicial relief.
Well, hold on,
and
Kim. I can't say he would recommend it since we don't have the correct
I
file.
wasn't recommending him.
Okay.
My recommendation.
Right.
Anyway, he has been here in Georgia for 20 years, Your Honor. His parents are here and he has job. He's been working on cars as an auto mechanic for the last 5 years. He also has a high school diploma and he simply didn't know about this AT&T fiber. He thought there was a cable that was lost, but apparently that was not the case. We would like to still request for signature on bond. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to order the $3,000 surety bond. I'm going to order now the address, tell me this is 402 Sawtell Avenue. Is that his address though?
No, that's where he took
That's where he took the cable.
Mhm.
Okay, so stay away from the 402 Sawtell Avenue Southwest. And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I'm not going to order the anti-theft class at this time. That can be later.
Thank you.
I think that's all. Anything else, counsel?
Nothing further.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, that should be it.
Yes, what was that bond amount?
$3,000 good bond.
Judge, I got a quick announcement.
Yes.
For position 5, they bonded out.
Okay, 5 bonded out, okay.
Position 6, medical reset.
Okay. That'll be reset till tomorrow.
For
14.
position 14 is also medical reset.
And Your Honor, just to put on the record, this is the second time this position 14 has been reset. So just wanted to advise the court, this is not a Riverside issue. It's nothing that the state was not within the state's control.
Roger, I understand. So we will reset it again till tomorrow, see what happens. All right, deputy, is that it?
That's it, Judge. Thank
All
you
right,
so
have a
much.
good weekend.
Thank you. Do the same.
All right, thank you.
April?
Position number 1 is a $4,000 good bond reset SAP 1027. Position number 2 is a total of a $2,000 good bond reset SAP 1027. Position number 3 is a $5,000 good bond reset SAP 1027. Position number 4 is a total of a $10,000 good bond reset SAP 1027. Position number 5, reset further notice, defendant release. Position number 6 is reset to see tomorrow. Position number 7 is a $2,500 pretrial bond reset further notice. Position number 8 is a $2,000 good bond reset SAP 1027. Position number 9 is a $2,500 pretrial bond reset for the notice. Position number 10 is a total of a $10,000 pretrial bond reset for the notice. Position number 11 is a total of a $5,000 good bond reset SAP 1027. Position number 12 is a $3,000 good bond reset SAP 1027. Position number 13 is a $1,500 good bond reset SAP 1027. Position number 14 is a medical reset to the C 1015. Position number 15 is a $7,500 good bond reset SAP 1027. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
No,
Is it good with you, pretrial?
it is.
Okay.
Your Honor, are you going to be here tomorrow?
No, ma'am.
All right.
No. I get a Saturday off.
Well, I'll see whoever's here.